Night has fallen in Boston. In a small apartment in the Dorchester neighborhood, an 18-year-old young man stares intently at his computer. His fingers dance across the keyboard as he breaks into online accounts that aren't his. With a few clicks, he's just stolen millions in cryptocurrency. A smile spreads across his face. He, who'd never owned anything, has suddenly become a multi-millionaire. He's already picturing the luxurious life that awaits him. Sports cars, high-end watches, partying in clubs. What he doesn't know is that his actions will soon catch the attention of the authorities. Here is the true and astounding story of Joel Ortiz, the student who stole $7.5 million by scamming innocent people. Joel Ortiz grew up in an underprivileged neighborhood of Boston. His mother, a Puerto Rican immigrant, is disabled due to a back injury and lives on social welfare. His father was never around. From a young age, Joel was fascinated with technology. When I was a kid, my mom and I used to pick out electronic devices from the trash. We'd bring them home and I'd learn how to fix them, he would recount later on. His knack for computers became apparent quickly. At just 13, he was already creating cheat software for online video games like Call of Duty. He sells them to other players and makes a little pocket money. $20 in PSN cards or PayPal, he proudly announces in a YouTube video posted at the time. But Joel was a loner. At school, he didn't really have any friends. His world was the online hacker forums. That's where he felt comfortable, where he could shine. Joel would spend hours on sites like Next Gen Update, a forum dedicated to sharing cheats and exploits for video games. But soon, he turned his attention to more serious matters: hacking, SQL injection, phishing. At 16, he was already boasting about having found a flaw in mail.com, which allowed him to access user accounts. Despite his questionable online activities, Joel excels in his studies. In 2017, he graduates from high school with honors. Valedictorian of his class, he even lands a scholarship to study computer science at the University of Massachusetts in Boston. The future looks bright for this young prodigy, but Joel has other plans in mind. For years, he's been honing his hacking skills, and now he's about to use them to commit one of the biggest cryptocurrency heists in history. By the end of 2017, the cryptocurrency world is buzzing. Bitcoin's price skyrockets from $1,000 in January to nearly $20,000 in December. In just a few months, its value increases by 20-fold. Many investors become millionaires overnight. The media are only talking about that.
Bitcoin is up about 20%.
Le Bitcoin
is Bitcoin.
valait moins $2 000 en 2017, il en valait 20 000 mi-décembre.
Instant fortune, an unlikely success story. Joel observes this phenomenon with fascination. He, who has always lived in poverty, suddenly sees an opportunity to change his life. On the hacker forums he frequents, heated discussions take place. Some brag about managing to hack into cryptocurrency wallets and steal fortunes. Joel, curious, got closer to a group of more experienced hackers. Together, they employed a formidable technique: SIM swapping. The concept is straightforward, yet devastating. They acquire their victim's phone number, then contact their service provider pretending to be them. They claim to have lost their phone and request to transfer the number to a new SIM card. Once they got hold of the number, they could reset the victim's online account passwords and take control of their cryptocurrency wallets. It was relatively easy back then, explains Joseph Harris, a former hacker. We'd call up the AT&T operator claiming we had a new phone and needed a new SIM card. We'd provide a name and the last 4 digits of a social security number, which someone could buy on the dark web for $3. Then they'd activate the new phone. Joel turned out to be particularly skilled at this technique. Within weeks, he had stolen several $100,000. Buoyed by his initial successes, he decides to aim bigger. With his accomplices, he draws up a list of potential targets: startup CEOs, Bitcoin conference speakers, investors flaunting their earnings on social media. Back then, if you were into crypto, you'd talk about crypto, an investigator explains. So, if you're looking for someone who might have cryptocurrencies, you just go on Twitter and search for the hashtag Bitcoin or crypto. As Joel was fine-tuning his plan, a new notification popped up on his screen. Another hacker had just pulled off a heist even bigger than his own. Amateur, Joel thought, with a mix of admiration and jealousy. He knew he could do better, much better. But at what cost? Joel didn't know it yet, but his next move would set off a chain of events that would forever alter his future. On January 15, 2018, Joel spots a prime target, Michael Turpin, a crypto millionaire investor based in Puerto Rico. With his crew, he manages to take control of the phone number. Within hours, he resets the passwords of the accounts and gains access to the cryptocurrency wallets. The loot is massive, $23.8 million in cryptocurrency. It was like winning the lottery, he would confess later. In just a few seconds, they went from nothing to millions. Drunk on their success, Joel and his partners in crime step up their attacks over the following weeks. Their victims now number in the dozens. On February 7th, they target Sasua Tabasu, the CEO of a blockchain startup. They steal the equivalent of $5.2 million in cryptocurrencies from him. When I saw that my wallet was emptied, I was in shock. It was all my savings, the money for my daughter's education. Then, on May 20th, it was Seth Shapiro's turn, a technology consultant, to be robbed of $1.7 million. I was in a store when my phone suddenly went dead, he explains. Within minutes, the thieves had taken control of all my accounts. It was probably the worst moment of my life. But Joel and his accomplices didn't stop there. They grew more and more bold, even contacting the relatives of their victims to demand more money. They called my wife pretending to be me, one of the victims explains. Then they started sending messages to my daughter. That's when it got personal. In total, Joel and his group allegedly stole over $50 million from around 100 victims between November 2017 and May 2018. Their technique is extremely effective. We're talking about 10 minutes between the SIM swapping and the crypto theft, explains an investigator. But money, so easily earned, can quickly go to one's head. How will Joel handle this sudden wealth? And how long can he evade the authorities? At 19, Joel becomes a multimillionaire. Having never owned anything significant before, he decides to make the most of his newfound wealth. He leaves the modest apartment he shared with his mother and rents a luxurious villa in the Hollywood Hills for $30,000 per month. His closet fills up with designer clothes, Gucci from head to toe, a Rolex watch, and gold jewelry. He even buys himself a gold chain with a Bitcoin emblem. On social media, Joel flaunts his lavish lifestyle. He posts pictures of wads of cash, from bottles of expensive champagne to parties in trendy clubs. It was like he was playing rich, comments an investigator, as if it was Halloween and he was dressing up as a millionaire. Joel's traveling everywhere, New York, Miami, Las Vegas. He's chartering private jets and staying at the fanciest hotels. For his 20th birthday, he throws this over-the-top party at a Los Angeles club. We paid the club to display signs with our names on them, one of his buddies shares. We were pouring $200 bottles of Dom Perignon like it was just water. But this lavish lifestyle catches attention. One June evening in 2018, Joel and his friends are robbed by armed men in their villa. The thieves left with $40,000 in cash and luxury watches. Shaken, Joel decides to go live on Instagram to talk about the incident. It's crazy, but yesterday 2 black guys came to the house with guns and robbed us, he says. I had $8,000 in cash, a Rolex, and a Bitcoin chain. I was so scared. What he doesn't know is that this live stream is going to catch the attention of the investigators who are already on his trail. While Joel is living the high life, a team of investigators specialized in cybercrime is on high alert. The React team, based in Silicon Valley, was alerted by several victims of massive cryptocurrency thefts. Sergeant Sammy Tarazi is leading the investigation. He quickly understands that he is dealing with an organized group using the SIM swapping technique. This was a new kind of breach we had never encountered before, he explains. We had to learn as we went along. The investigators traced the phone numbers used in the hacks. One led them to Boston, to the neighborhood where Joel lived. They obtained warrants to access data from his Google account. It was a goldmine. They found selfies of Joel holding his ID card, as well as emails that outlined his criminal activities. We had his identity, but we didn't yet know exactly what his role was, recounts Tarazi. We kept gathering evidence. Investigators discovered that Joel is not acting alone. He is part of a group of hackers called the Community. They identify several other members, Xavier Narvaez, Nicholas Truglia, Ricky Hanschumacher. Often, these young people had grown up playing video games like Call of Duty, an investigator explains, but they didn't even know each other's real names, just their online handles. Yet Joel appears to have been one of the masterminds behind the operation, as he was the one holding the phone during the hacks and resetting the victims' passwords. Joel's role was to hold the device, an investigator explains. He'd start by taking over the accounts by clicking on Forgot Password, and the code would be sent to the phone Joel was holding. This put him in charge of the whole operation. Tensions rise as the investigators close in on Joel. Sergeant Tarazi and his team have put together a solid case, but Joel remains elusive, always one step ahead. Suddenly, crucial information comes in. Joel has booked a flight to Belgium, leaving in less than 48 hours. If we miss him, we might never see him again, warns Tarazi, his face tense. Once in Europe, he could disappear forever with millions in crypto. The team is working day and night. They must get an arrest warrant, coordinated with airport security while keeping the operation secret to avoid alerting Joel. Meanwhile, unaware of the danger awaiting him, Joel packs his bags and posts one last photo on Instagram, smiling in front of a world map. The caption reads, "The world is mine. See you soon, America." On July 12, 2018, Joel heads to Los Angeles Airport. He's about to board a flight to Boston before jetting off to Europe. Dressed head to toe in Gucci, he has no idea that undercover cops are watching him. Just as he was going through security, they swooped in on him. "We decided to arrest him just after he'd gone through the metal detector," Tarazi recounts. He had just placed all his luggage and belongings in the bin. Joel is handcuffed in front of the other passengers, who are astonished. In his luggage, the police find a ledger, a type of USB key, storing $250,000 in cryptocurrency. The prodigious student, who became one of the country's most wanted cyber criminals, watches his dream crumble. During his interrogation, Joel partially cooperates. He provides the password to his ledger, allowing investigators to access the $250,000. But it is only a fraction of the $5.5 million he allegedly stole. "Where is the rest of the money?" ask the investigators. Joel claims he did not keep everything, that he was just the guy holding the phone. At his trial, Joel pleads guilty to 10 charges, including aggravated theft and identity theft. His lawyer tries to plead for leniency, arguing that Joel was just a kid at the time of the crimes. But the judge isn't having any of it. He sentences Joel to 10 years in prison and orders him to repay $7.5 million to his victims. Several of his accomplices are also arrested in the months that follow, with some receiving sentences of up to 18 months in prison. But a large portion of the stolen money remains unaccounted for. Investigators suspect Joel has hidden millions in Bitcoin somewhere. "We told him we could be more lenient if he told us where the rest of the money was," explains prosecutor Aaron West, but he never wanted to talk. The victims, they remain affected. Seth Shapiro and his wife testify during the trial. "We lost everything. I'm 50 years old, have 2 young kids, and I no longer have a retirement because Joel Ortiz destroyed our lives in one day." Now 23 years old, Joel is serving his sentence in a California prison. He should be released in 2028 at age 30, but the mystery of the missing money continues. Did he spend it all on his short-lived luxurious life, or are millions still waiting for him somewhere on the blockchain? Investigators remain puzzled. The victims still hope, and Joel remains silent. In a world where wealth can be as intangible as a forgotten password, the truth remains as elusive as the cryptocurrencies themselves.